Good afternoon. I'm Wayne Brown. We're here at Southern Woods Plantation, Sylvester, Georgia, which happens to be one of the largest peanut producing counties in the state. Got about 30,000 acres. We're here for our 16th annual peanut conference with a peanut specialist, and I have with me this afternoon Dr. Scott Munford, our UGA peanut agronomist.
Bob Kimmerite.
Dr.
Nice
Bob
to meet you,
Kimmerite,
sir.
I got lost. Dr. Bob Kimmerite, who's a pathologist for corn, cotton, soybeans, and peanuts, and agronomist from Alabama, Chris Balkin. We're here to talk about 2025 crop. There's a lot of things going on with the economy. Cotton prices are down. So Scott, let me turn to you. I know 3 years ago, we had over 600,000 acres of peanuts in Georgia, and then we climbed to over 700,000. This past year, we got about 843,000, and now the word on the street, we're gonna have over 900,000 acres of peanuts in the state of Georgia. So what's that gonna do for our rotation and peanut producers for this year?
You know, if you look at the last 10 years, we've had several years above 750,000 acres. That in itself has carried us above what we consider a normal amount of acres to support or sustains a good rotation. And we're talking 2 years out of peanuts in one particular field. And that's what we'd like to see, good rotation, and that at least keeps our diseases at bay. It doesn't eliminate them, but it does keep it at bay, keeps our yields elevated, fertility taken care of, that kind of thing. But in the last several years, with us being, you know, like I said, we dipped down into 600 one time, maybe 400 one time in the last 7 years. The other part of that is we've been elevated. We've been 700 plus now. We've had 2 years in the last 3 that we've topped 800,000 acres. 803 once, 844 last year. And yes, we are poised with the prices, commodity prices, the way they are, to be over 900,000 acres. And I think most of that's because of cotton. The prices for cotton, we're just not at a point that they can sustain themselves. So yeah, it's going to erode away our rotation, which is not a very good thing for us to have happen. But we do understand why.
Dr. Bob, as he said, with our rotation and increase in acres, what's that going to do for disease control?
Well, it's absolutely clear. It's absolutely clear that as the time between peanut crops shrinks, as you go from peanuts in the field, out of every 4 years to one out of every 3 years to every other year peanuts to peanuts behind peanuts, absolutely yield suffers. It suffers every time you decrease years between a peanut crop. The biggest benefit is to try not to plant peanuts behind peanuts. But why is that drag? And one of the biggest important reasons, Wayne, is the disease factor. The disease factor primarily with stem rot or white mold. Leaf spot is more severe. Certainly other diseases can be serious, like cylindrocladium black rot. And that's why we're talking to growers about profitability in 2025 as they're thinking about what to do about the rotation, is to recognize that as your rotation shrinks, the years between peanut crops shrinks, the importance of selecting varieties with resistance to nematodes, with resistance to white mold, with resistance to leaf spot increases. And along with that comes the increased importance of a fungicide program that's going to carry you through, that's going to fight the leaf spot, that's going to fight the white mold. Question that Dr. Montfort asks sometimes is, do you plan on, and with economics the way they are now, to cut your inputs as far as a fungicide program? That would be the biggest mistake unless you do it carefully, because you're not worried about what you spend up front, it's the profitability. Last thing I'll say, Wayne, is we've seen over and over again in research trials and on-farm trials that you can protect up to 2,000 pounds per acre by investing in the fungicide program that's going to most effectively fight white mold, especially, or stem rot, is also known, but also leaf spot as well. Now is not the time to cut disease programs or to avoid resistant varieties simply because you think you have to. We cannot do that and remain profitable.
Okay, Chris, you heard what's going to happen in the great state of Georgia. You told me earlier y'all going to go from 188,000 to 200,000 or more. So what are some of your concerns about Alabama?
Well, number one would obviously be the rotation. We're certainly going to compromise that in some places. We will take on some new ground there for this year, but Cotton's going to be the one that decreases the acres, obviously, due to the price, and that's going to go to corn and to peanuts. So we certainly hope y'all got a good supply of good products there for us to use, because there'll be more acres. There'll also be in more demand. You know, as we shorten these rotations, these guys are going to get away from the cheaper programs, spend the money to help protect ourselves there and protect that yield.
Okay, thank y'all for being here today. Thank you for your comments, and looking forward to seeing you down the road.
Thank you.